Yeah. Okay, walk that way, Bubba. There you go. Hey, it's Bruce, Awesome Arcades. So today is Friday, December the 5th. It's about 10 p.m. I'm out in my garage, and I've been getting a lot of questions lately about the option for external PlayStation controllers. So when you go to checkout in the shopping cart for all my machines, you're gonna see an option that says PS2 plus USB. And understandably, a lot of people say, what is that? So this video is specifically for that. So what that refers to is PlayStation style controllers and a multi-port USB strip. So these are different examples of Pandora game cards. There's different companies that sell different versions. It's all the same software inside. Sometimes the case is white. It used to be blue. There's also a black one that you can find. But basically on the back of the game card, there is a USB port here. Now there's only one USB port. The trackball and these trackballs plug into that USB port. So if you're gonna plug in more than one thing, you need this. This is called a multi-port USB strip. And so this is a PS2 with a USB and a multi-port USB strip. So that's what that is. This is a standard PlayStation 2 style controller. It's not actually PlayStation because PlayStation didn't use a USB plug. What this allows you to do is you can plug in and play with up to 4 people moving on the screen at the same time. And so on the Pandora DX, and one thing I just wanted to show you is sometimes people ask where I store them. So there's an option to get wired or wireless. The wired are nice because, like, if you're in an Airbnb situation or you have it in a commercial application, they can't walk away. So you're not going to lose them. They're tethered to the cabinet. Obviously, the wireless are pretty cool because you can sit farther away from the cabinet. I tend to go with the wired just because I have little kids and these use batteries and they leave them on. Now, they do shut off, but they do stay on for about an hour before they have the automatic shut off. And so this is where I store them on this. This is a Storm arcade. I have 2 machines that are very similar. One is called a Typhoon, one is called a Storm. The Typhoon is made of wood. It's the same material. These are 2 packed up cocktail tables, by the way. The Typhoon is made of the same material that my ultimate cocktail table is made of. The Typhoon is more squared off. It's a little bit taller and it's heavier. One thing that's the same though is on the Storm and the Typhoon, they have the exact same, this piece here, which is called the control panel. And it creates this same little groove. And so I have found that that is a perfect spot to store my controllers. If you wanted to do wired controllers, you could actually run them down through, and I've seen people drill like a little hole there. Or if you want, there's a coin door on the front, you can run them through there, and I'll show you more about that in a second. On the cocktail table, usually, so inside the cabinet, this one's full of things because I'm shipping it, but the board would sit there. This cable comes out, and with the lid down, there is still room for the cables to fish out. And then you could have them sitting up here. Some people sit there, or you could have them hanging. And just so you know, if you pull on this, it will come all the way out, and then you'll have a little more room. So on this game board, if you come up and you press the start button, and just so you know, even though these are different machines, they play the exact same game card. So this game card is going to be the same card that you would play in that cabinet. This is a 32-inch monitor for this machine. That particular brand right there, this version, this is a 26-inch version, but I also have a 32-inch. So there is a version of the ultimate cocktail table that has the exact same monitor that is in this one. In terms of the difference, some people ask, is it going to affect the resolution or will it look different? The best way to think of it is like a movie. So the movie's going to look the same whether it's a 50-inch TV or a 70-inch TV, and it's kind of the same thing here. Okay, so on both machines, if you press the start button, this game board has a sub menu built in where it's got recently played games. You can search for games, but the thing that I'm talking about here is a list of 3 and 4 player games. And so these are all games where you can actually have 4 people moving on the screen at the same time. One of my favorite games is Golden Axe. And the game that my kids and I like to play a lot, X-Men, is very popular. And of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and The Simpsons. There's also a lot of sports games, which are pretty cool. Soccer games, basketball games, football, baseball, where you could have all 4 kids playing at the same time. So one thing I wanted to show you is on the back of the game card itself, there's a little button. That's the clipboard for the customer. I'm getting ready to ship this so that way I don't forget who it's going to. On the game board, there's a little button right there. That's your setup button. Or in the cabinets, in every cabinet, there is a red button that is hardwired. And it's the same in the cocktail tables. There's a red button that I show you in the setup video. So I'm gonna push that, and that is gonna take us into the setup screen. In the setup screen, and I have other videos that'll walk you through this a lot more slowly and carefully, but go to game setting, and then this is where, excuse me, it's not game setting, system configuration. This is where if you come down here, you can map this so that, so right now this is player 1, player 2, player 3, and player 4. If you want, you can take these and make them player 1 and player 2, and then you could use this as the primary joystick and sit across the room and play games like Pac-Man or Frogger. And the way that you do that is you just press that setup button, you come down to the gamepad setting, and you can just see how I toggle through those choices. When you're done, you just go back a screen. In addition, just so you know, this is where you change it from coin operated to free play. So on this particular board, when you get it, if you wanted to put it on free play, you literally push that button. The very first option will say credit settings. You go to where it says free play, and then you go down and save and exit. Hey, one thing I forgot to mention, these controllers are actually, so on this game card, in that USB port, you can plug in a USB stick. So this game board has the ability, in addition to 3,000 games, so pretty much every game you've ever heard of released between 1978 and like 2001, it can emulate or play Nintendo games, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega Genesis, and a bunch of other consoles. When you purchase from me, I send you a link to a YouTube video. It's not my video, it's from Pandora, but they show you how to download these games from the internet for free onto a USB stick. And I'll just show you my setup here. So this is my USB stick. And then when you turn it on, basically anything up to game number 3,000, those are the games included. Anything above 3,000, these are games that I've downloaded. So game number 2990. And if you're gonna play PlayStation games, some of the PlayStation games were originally intended to be played on a paddle that has more functions than, that's the start button. So then the 6 buttons on here. It's got like L1, L2, R1. So games like Tomb Raider, Grand Theft Auto, you're gonna have more fun using a PlayStation controller. Also, this little switch here is pretty cool for some of the games on the PlayStation. And if you're curious, game number 3001, so Paperboy, Punch-Out. When you are given the option to download these games, you'll see in the video, you can also download a preview video. On a lot of these, I didn't bother downloading the preview video. I had a limited amount of space on my USB stick, and I was more concerned with getting more games. That's why some of the videos show up, but on a lot of the games that you're seeing here, the games that are included on the cabinet, on the Pandora, they all have a preview video. But my downloaded games, I chose not to get the video. You could choose to if you wanted to. They're right there when you download the games. The video file is right next to it. But yeah, you can see I got Castlevania, Mega Man, Metroid, one of my favorite games, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Skate or Die, Tecmo Bowl, Zelda, Legend of Zelda Part 2, Donkey Kong Country. Just letting you get a look at some of the games I've got here. Mario's Missing, Mega Man 10, Monopoly, Return of the Jedi, SimCity. That's a great PlayStation game that is a lot better to use with a PlayStation controller. SimCity. All right, I'm getting lost in the weeds here. If you have any questions, let me know. Punch-Out, one of the best games ever. We get a pizza coming up. They're gonna drop some pizza on us.
Let me get the pizza, Dad.
You need it the most. You need some food.
Wait, that's not me. I'm not blue.
Oh, you're not that one?
I'm red.